Hello students, in previous lecture we have discussed about the pathology, and now we are going to start our next chapter, that is powders. So what is in this chapter, or after completion of this chapter, you will you will come to know about the following aspects. What are about the powders and dosage form of the powders. So what are limitations of the powders and why the powders are popular, and on different types of powders which are formulated, and their method of preparation, and how balance is being used for weighing the powders, and guidelines for the label and store powders properly. So next, what is structure of the structure of this chapter? First one is we will study about the introduction. In the introduction, we will study about the advantages of powders and disadvantages of powders. Next, we will study the weighing method. So in weighing method, we will study about the possible errors in weighing. And third one is classification and methods of preparation of different types of powders. So first one is powders for internal use, in which there are various types of powders. First one is divided powder, simple powders, compound powders, powders enclosed in cachets and capsules, and tablet triturates. Next is powder for external use. First one is medical dusting powder, second one is surgical dusting powder, and third one is dentifrices. Next are the special powders. First one is eutectic mixtures, effervescent powders or granules, and powders to be reconstituted, and hygroscopic and deliquescent powders. Then the theoretical and practical aspects of dispensing powders. First one is compound powders, second one is tablet triturates, third one is effervescent granules, in which heat method and wet method are there. So next is dusting powders and dentifrices. Next one is eutectic mixtures. Next one is powders to be reconstituted, and hygroscopic and deliquescent powders. Next one will be appropriate containers, labeling of powders, and storage conditions. So now let us start with the introduction. So students, what are the powders? So powders are the solid dosage forms. So they are considered as the oldest and simplest dosage forms, since they are supplied either in the bulk or as an individual dose in the final state of subdivision of drug or drugs with or without the diluents. Usually, bulk powders are supplied for externally used purposes and individual doses for internally used purposes. So, a pharmacist view for powders as a dosage form should be important for their state of subdivision, homogeneous mixing, if contain more than one drug, and their dispensing procedures depending on physical and chemical properties of drugs and diluents, their packing and labeling. So powders are still very commonly used dosage forms in many of the dispensaries, simply because of their simple formulation and packaging techniques. So sometimes few of the drugs for internal use are not dispensed in fine state of subdivision, but they are rendered to a granular form using some processes. So this form of medicament is called granules. So they are usually supplied in bulk form. Granules are formulated in such a way that they should evolve carbon dioxide gas when added to water before taking the dosage orally. So such form of powders are called effervescent granules. So nowadays, powders for internal use are very conveniently replaced by tablets and capsules, while powders for external use with sprays and insufflations. So next is advantages of the powders. So first one is they are most versatile and convenient to prescribe, compound and administer. So they provide the precise dose, and physician has the option to deviate from the conventional dose of the medicament. And they are more stable than liquid dosage form since they remain in solid state, and most of the drugs degrade when it comes in contact with moisture. So there are very less chances of chemical reactions among the drugs present in mixture because of the absence of moisture. So hence no incompatibility is found. So next is being available in a very fine state of subdivision. They show rapid rate of dissolution and hence rapid rate of absorption. So this advantage is over the solid dosage forms like tablets, and they are taken easily in milk bulk quantities, either with food or some drink. So also they are easy to carry than the liquids. Liquids are not easy to carry. So the powders are the most economical dosage form since they do not require large number of machinery or special techniques. So they are easily administered to those patients who are not in a condition to swallow through feeding tube, dispensing them in water. So powders are suitable for unconscious patients who are hospitalized, or infants and children who cannot swallow the tablet or capsules. Next one is disadvantages of powders. So drugs which are sensitive to the atmospheric conditions like air, moisture and light, and are not suitable for dispensing in the form of powders. So drugs which are bitter, unpalatable, corrosive and nauseous, and they are not suitable for dispensing in the form of powders. So drugs which are hygroscopic, delicescent, oxidizing and effervescent in nature may arise problem in dispensing processes. So drugs which are volatile in nature are not advisable to dispense in the form of powders. So it includes number of operations like milling, sieving, mixing, drying, etc. As time consuming to compound. So in powders for external use, it requires finest state of subdivision of powders, hence become costly. So next is weighing method. So dispensing of drug is handicapped without the weighing process. So it is most important operation that takes part in dispensing of any of the dosage form. So the quality of the dispensed drug depends on the accuracy in the weighing process. So until we know about the proper techniques of weighing, either by dispensing balance or analytical balance, it is not possible to supply quality products to the patients. So therefore, pharmacists are required to pay attention on the following point of weighing. First one is a cleaned balance must be put in a well lighted room which is free from dust, corrosive vapors, and high humidity and air vibrations. It is adjusted to the level of the balance. Uh, Cut two equal sized wax paper and put them on each of the pan so as to cancel the weight of paper on which powder is kept. And papers will also prevent the direct contact of powders with pan, and hence preventing the corrosion of pans and adhering to powders to the pans. So always use forceps to hold the weights. So this will prevent the error in the weighing due to the sweat, grease or oil from the hands. And it put weights with the help of forceps on the right hand side pan, and powder to be weighed on the left hand side pan. So this is most convenient way of or for weighing, since most of the persons are right handed. So otherwise the pillar of the balance will obstruct in putting the weights on the left hand side pan for a right handed pharmacist. So the weight must be absolutely clean before use. So they must be rubbed with a piece of Phthalate to avoid any deposit of particle on surface of the weights. And Weights are taken from the weight box and returned back to weight box only. So before weighing any drug, one must check the label of bottle or packet so as to confirm the correct ingredient required to dispense. So while taking out the material from the bottle or packet, one must use the spatula. And addition or removal of powder from the pan is done only after arresting it. So the pointer shows a zero reading after releasing the pan rest when a correct amount of powder is taken on the pan. So close the bottle or packet immediately and keep them on their proper places. So once again the label of the bottle or packet must be ready to avoid any mistake. So once again the pointer balance is checked. It should be absolutely on the 0 point in releasing condition. So then put the pans on arrest condition. So it take out the powder from the pan to the compounding device and discard the wax paper. For each weighing, new wax paper must be used. And it returns the weighing or weights from the pan to their proper place with the help of forceps and clean the balance pan and spatula with the duster. So next is possible errors in weighing. So balance is not leveled and rest point of balance is defective. Two pans are having different weights and position of left and right pan is interchanged. Wax paper on both the pans are not having similar weight and weighing is performed directly on the pan and weight is recorded before the standstill condition of the pointer. Next is weights are handled with hands and fractional weights are not calibrated and volatile material weights or weighed in an open vessel. Next is classification and methods of preparation of different types of powders. So powders are mainly classified in three classes. First one is powders for internal use, powders for external use, and special powders. And then first one is powder for internal use. So powder for internal use can further be classified into two classes. First one is divided powder and bulk, and second one is bulk powders. So in case of divided powders, when the powders are supplied individually as a single dose in separate packets, they are called divided powders, and so they are further divided into following classes. First one is simple powders, second one is compound powder, third one is powder enclosed in sachets and capsules, and fourth one is tablet triturates. So let us come to the simple powders. So simple powders contain only one ingredient, either in crystalline or amorphous form. So these powders should preferably be reduced to fine powders, weighed properly and supplied in a single dose packet separately. So the wrapping of the powders may be single wrapped or double wrapped according to the properties of drug. So the drug is resistant to atmospheric conditions. It can be wrapped singly, or if sensitive to dose conditions, it must be doubly wrapped. So, for example, prescription of 500 mg paracetamol. Method is weigh accurately the required amount of paracetamol powder which is already in its fine state. So, if not, then first reduce to fine powder and weigh. Wrap each dose in a white demi paper. So the packets are combinedly supplied in an envelope which is properly labeled as follow. And label have name of the patient, age, name of the doctor, sex, direction to be taken 1 3 times a day, and auxiliary label keep in a well closed form, date on which dispensed, name of dispenser, and name of hospital. So next is compound powders. So compound powders contain two or more ingredients supplied in the form of fine state of powder in divided dose, and each dose is supplied in a single packet. First one is aspirin, paracetamol and caffeine. In the case of aspirin, will be 250 mg, paracetamol will be 150 mg, and caffeine will be 50 mg. So method will be powder each ingredient and weigh required quantities and mix them in geometrical proportions and supplied in divided doses. So wrap each dose in double wrapped paper. So students, wrapping of powder is to form a packets by a special type of folding of white demi paper. So the folding stages in packing the powders um, will be given in the book. You can check at the page 114. So next is powders enclosed in cachets and capsules. So cachets are unidosage forms of drugs in which drug is enclosed in a tasteless sheet formed by pouring a mixture of rice flour and butter between two hot polished revolving cylinders. So the water evaporates and a sheet of water formed is called cachets. So they are unidoses and have several advantages. They are very simple to make and no complication or complicated machinery is required as in case of tablets. So disagreeable drugs under investigation are dispensed extemporaneously and quickly. So they are suitable for giving large dose of the drugs. Large size of cachets are easily to swallow as compared to hard capsules, and they disintegrate quickly in the stomach. So cachets are not existing as a dossier form since they have many disadvantages. They are not firm, can easily be damaged. They provide poor protection to the drugs from light and moisture, and they are to be softened before swallowing. They occupy more space than the corresponding size of tablets and capsules. They are fragile in nature and not suitable to be filled on automated machines. So they are of two types: wet seal cachets and dry seal cachets. First one is wet seal. So they are made of two similar convex halves having flat edges. So the weight amount of powder is placed in one half and the edges of the other are moistened with water and placed exactly over the first half containing the powder. So edges of both the halves are pressed together so as to make a perfect seal. So since this form of dosiform is obsolete, we will not discuss its machinery for filling. Next is dry seal cachets. They consist of two halves, the upper half and the lower half. So the former one is a little larger in diameter than the lower half. So the powder is filled in a lower half and the upper half is fitted over it like a lid on a box. So the backs of upper as well as lower halves have small projections which are used to fix the cachets in holes of the machine. So the lower halves are fitted into the lower plate of machine and powder fitted in them. So the upper halves are fitted in the upper plate by means of projection which will not allow the caches to fall when the plate is moved. So the upper plate is pressed down on the lower plate, forcing the upper halves or lids to fit exactly over the lower halves. So the filled caches are removed and packed in boxes. So the caches are dispensed in a box. So if necessary, the empty spaces are filled with by the cotton wool so as to fix them properly in the boxes. So the boxes are labeled with direction for use. That is immerse in butter for few seconds and then swallow with a draught of butter. So the caches are such have no significance in pharmaceutical dosage form as they are supposed to be any initial crude way to administer the drug. So no doubt they may be used for those drugs which are under investigation in hospitals. So in case of capsules, so they are the small boxes or shell made up of mainly gelatin and other additives, and they are available in eight sizes, identified number ranging from 0 to 5. 0 is the largest and 5 is the smallest number. So they are made in two halves. The lower part is called the body and the upper part is called cap. So the powder is filled in the body part and cap is lightly slid over the body when the capsule is closed. So filling of powder can be done by the two ways. First one is heap method and second one is by using simple wooden apparatus. So students, in next lecture we will discuss about the filling of powders in the capsules and rest of the unit. So thank you so much for watching the lecture.